Alright. So, what is a delivery document? Just like the way you have a sales document type, right? So you have a sales document type, say OR, QT, so on and so forth. And then you deliver the order if there are deliverable items, right? So this is VA01, VA21, whatever, and then you deliver the document type using VL01N, and this is a separate class of document. It's not related to sales. Luckily, we don't have so many different delivery document types that we need to remember. Most of the time, the document types that are used in delivery are just two different delivery document types. One is NF, which is for outbound delivery document type. And for returns, you have LR, which is an inbound return delivery document type. These are the most commonly used, and you probably don't need to go beyond it. Don't even go beyond them. LF, LR. So irrespective of what your sales document is, let's say it's an order, let's say it's a scheduling agreement, whatever sales document is used, you can still use LF and LR. Very minor difference. These two different document types can capture everything that you need for a delivery document type. Now, an order has a document type that controls how the document behaves, and at the line item level, there are item categories. Say TAM, app, TAS, right? Very similarly, you also have TAM, app, TAS, so on and so forth. These are sales item categories, whereas these are delivery item categories. Sales item categories, delivery item categories. Okay? Now, sales item categories has a bunch of controls. We have seen around 11 or 12 different controls. The delivery item category is not that complicated. It's pretty simple. It doesn't have so many controls. Maybe at most one or two controls are important. Okay? So let's quickly go in and see what are the controls behind a delivery document type and what are the controls behind delivery item categories. Let me quickly log on. Okay. As usual, we go to SPRO, ING, sales and this. So here's the trick. For delivery and delivery related things, don't go to sales and distribution, but instead go to logistics execution. Okay, this is where some students get confused. Make sure you don't go to sales and distribution for delivery related items. Instead, go to logistics execution. Okay, let me just quickly capture it so that you know that you have to go to logistics execution instead of Okay, the key is to go to logistics execution and then shipping and then deliveries. So we have delivery document types and delivery item categories. Okay. Define delivery types. Remember we said the most important ones are LF and LR. So if you take LF, right, and go inside, what are the main controls? Let me take a quick screenshot here. There are some controls that are not relevant for us at this point, but they are important. So I will highlight all the important controls, and then when it comes to respective controls, you will always visit back. Okay? First thing, category. This is very similar to the way we have seen the sales document category. Remember, sales document category was field right next to the document type declaration. As soon as you see that, go to that controls, OR, and the number ranges. Even before number ranges starts, there is a field called document category. What role did it play? It defined how the document behaves. For example, quotation behaved in a different way, order behaved in a different way, so on and so forth. Similarly, standard outbound delivery will have a document category of J. Standard returns delivery may have a different document type category, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, you might have another question. If we only use 2 of them, why are there 92 of them here? Okay. Deliveries are not just used for sales. They could be used for other processes as well, like intercompany stock transfer order. We could use a delivery there. Anything where a recorded goods movement need to happen, it could start with the delivery. We just happen to use the delivery document for standard returns and standard outbound delivery. So we have very little use of the delivery document, so to speak, compared to other logistics operations. That is why deliveries are segregated under the logistics execution part as opposed to sales and distribution. Okay, that's the document category. And of course, this is the number ranges, which is the easiest to understand. Number ranges and number range increment. Sorry, item number increment. So we have internal number ranges, we have external number ranges, and item number increment. Now in sales, there used to be a sub-item increment here, which is not available. The reason being, a BOM only exists at the sales document level. When it comes to delivery, what happens to the BOM? The BOM becomes flat. There is no hierarchy. The BOM becomes flat. But look at the problem here. If there is a computer, PC, with 3 parts in it, CPU, monitor, keyboard, 10, 20, 30, 40, right? And 20, 30, 40 will be part of 10. That's how we define a BOM. And that's how it fits in a sales order. Okay? Now, how do we see it in a delivery? In a delivery, what happens is that BOM gets flattened out into what is called as a delivery group. And this is defined at the item category level. If you remember the item category controls, down below there is a field called application scope and structure scope, right? That's where we say SD01, and then it should blow up at the top level, it should blow up at the component level, so on and so forth. And right next to it, there is a field called delivery group. Okay? So all the components and the top level part gets flattened out and they are combined together because that PC needs to be delivered in one piece, right? So the monitor, CPU and keyboard needs to go together. How does a delivery document ensure that they go together? Using what is called as delivery groups. So we'll see it in the system. If we create a bomb, we'll see it in the system. That's why we don't have a sub-item increment. Sub-item increments are only relevant for bombs. Okay, third field. Order required. This is always set to X for inbound delivery or outbound delivery. The reason why it is set to X is these two document types, LF and LR, are only created with reference to a sales document. You cannot create them alone. For example, if you go to VL01N, say, VL01N, and try to create a document type of type LF without an order, it's just not possible for at least LF document type. Okay? So without order reference, if you go there, you see the difference? With order reference and without order reference. Without order reference, you could use a delivery document type that doesn't have that flag checked on in the delivery document type and try and create a delivery without reference. But for all sales deliveries, be it returns or outbound, we always ensure that there is a tracking sales document that is triggering this delivery. Okay? So, always make sure that you check this flag on for sales related deliveries, meaning sales document and then delivery, return sales and then delivery. Okay? So, this is important. So, this allows that nobody is able to create a return delivery without a corresponding return authorization in the form of a return document. Meaning, so if you have OR or whatever sales document, with reference to it, you can create a delivery. Similarly, if you have a return document, meaning somebody has authorized the return, then you can create a return delivery. These two documents should not be created without a reference sales document. So that's what this field dictates. Okay, so the rest of them are not important. Output determination procedure, text determination procedure, route determination, partner determination procedure. These are important, but not at this moment. Okay. So in delivery document type, there are three important fields once again: document category, number ranges, order required. Just understand these three fields at this point. Okay. So we'll move on to delivery item categories. Where are delivery item categories? Right beneath it. Define item categories for delivery. Now these have the same names as sales document categories, but the controls are different. So if you go inside 10, it's not as big as a sales item category, right? It's pretty small. Let me take a screenshot here. Okay. So again, once again, what are the important controls here? Document category, we know is important. Okay. And then there are some other fields that are relatively important, but I would say gloss over them. And relevant for picking, important. Okay. Storage location required, important. And text determination, important. That's it. Very simple. Right? So what is document category? You know what's a document category. It defines the way an item category behaves. It's like the DNA of that item category. So for TAN it will be different. For TANN it will be different, so on and so forth. Relevancy for picking. What is this relevancy for picking? What is really meant by this relevancy for picking. I'll give you a simple scenario whereby you understand this relevancy for picking better. You would be tempted to think that every delivery document, delivery item should be relevant for picking, otherwise why are we even doing a delivery? When you're doing a delivery, that means it's a physical deliverable and of course it is relevant for picking. If you make an item category as not relevant for picking, meaning check this off, okay, what happens is when you have this order, right, 10 M01 quantity 1, then you are trying to create a delivery here for this order, and this order comes through 10 M01, and in the delivery there is a delivery quantity of 1 and picking quantity. It will either be grayed out in case there is warehouse management, or it will just say blank until you go and pick a quantity of 1. Manually put it in or use a transfer order. Now, if you set that item category to not relevant for delivery, this will be cleared out. You cannot do anything. Even if you do a transfer order, whatever you do, you cannot do anything. You cannot pick the goods. Then what is the point in having that in a delivery? One of the prime use cases for this is a BOM top level component. There is this top level component, let's say, okay, let me start over again, 10 PC 101, 20 monitor, 30 keyboard. Higher level item is 10, 10. Quantity 1, 1, 1. Now let's try to do the delivery for this. When you do the delivery for this, should this PC 101, which is a top level placeholder part or a dummy part, which is not even relevant for picking, it's just a placeholder, dummy. So should it come through to the delivery? Yes, it should, because the reason being, I'll tell you why. If it doesn't, let me take the case where this doesn't come. So this doesn't come, and only this comes in, and this comes in. So you got a monitor, you got a keyboard, and there is no line here. So you pick this, and then you bill. It's time to bill. You only will have a monitor and keyboard. And this is a delivery relevant billing, meaning you are creating this with reference to the delivery. Delivery is created with reference to order, billing is created with reference to delivery. When you create this billing document with reference to the delivery, only the monitor and keyboard comes. The customer will be confused. He doesn't understand that this is part of a PC. So he has ordered for PCs, and did he get monitors and keyboards? Is that what this invoice says? Which is not very logical, right? So this is the problem that we are trying to solve by making that PC relevant for picking, which means not relevant for picking, I mean. So we will make that item flow through to the delivery, but we will make PC 101 more or less like a placeholder where it doesn't matter and that line item doesn't need to be picked. So it will stay there, holding all these pieces together, meaning making sense to the customer that, oh, okay, my monitor and keyboard are part of this PC. Okay, so that field called delivery, which is relevant for picking, will be turned off in this case, where you don't need to really pick a dummy part, and it will flow through to the invoice, and that's when it makes sense to the customer to see all the components of that part. That's one of the uses of relevancy for picking. Okay, so storage location is not required at this point. There is a concept called storage location determination. Okay, where at the order level and at the delivery level, storage location from which storage location associated with the plant do we need to take the goods out is determined. Some fields are not relevant for source location. Example, the same example you can take. Any dummy part, any service part that you want to take through to delivery does not require a storage location because it doesn't make any sense. You're not really delivering them. In which case, you can turn them off. Okay? An example could be TAD, is that right? TAD, not that, maybe TAQ, not able to find some materials for which that storage location is determined. And if you observe, TAS is not there. What is TAS? And even if you can't see, you cannot also see TAD. Why? No TAS, no TAD as delivery item categories. Can you guess why? No TAD, no TAS. TAD is service. TAS, as we have seen, is third party. Both these things are not relevant for delivery, isn't it? And hence, you don't see them as a delivery item category. Okay? So anything that is not relevant for delivery, you won't see it as an item category in the delivery item categories. Okay? So that's all you need to know about delivery item categories and delivery document types. Now there is also something called as the delivery item category determination, quite similar to the way we have sales item category determination, but it follows the same principle, no different. Okay? It doesn't make any difference. There are the only 4 parameters that define an item category as it is in a sales document. Exactly, it gets replicated here. So define delivery document type, item category group, usage, high level item category. That's it. There is no difference here between sales document item categories determination and delivery document type item category determination. Okay? Alright. Now going back, let's close this logistics execution and then move on to sales and distribution and billing section. Okay? Billing is a little more involved. Billing. Billing also has document types, just like the way we have delivery document types, sales document types. Billing also has document types. What are the most important billing document types? So here are the most important billing document types: F2, F5, F8, L2, G2, okay, and I think we have RE. Let me go inside. Oops. Okay. RE. Okay, these are some of the most important document types. F2 is the standard invoice. Just like the way we have order OR, LF delivery, F2 is the standard invoice. F5 and F8 are called pro forma invoices. F5 is an example of order related pro forma invoice. I'll tell you what a pro forma invoice is. And F8 is delivery related pro forma invoice. Okay, let me finish this list and I'll explain what a pro forma invoice is. Okay, and then we have L2, which is a debit memo. G2 is a credit memo. RE is credit for returns. The most important billing document types. Okay, so let's see how they are related to the delivery and corresponding sales document types. Here is the picture. OR, standard order. Okay, you have a delivery and then you have billing. Parallelly, with reference to this, you can have what is called as a F8, and with reference to this, we can have F5. So you understand F2, which is a standard sales invoice. If you do a standard delivery, standard order, standard delivery, you will create a standard invoice, which gets posted to accounts payable. What is this F5 and F8? Both are pro forma invoices. What is a pro forma invoice? A pro forma invoice is a special invoice type or special billing document type that does not post to accounts. That is one of the properties. The uses of it are generally when your goods crosses an international border. When your goods cross an international border, a pro forma invoice is required to declare the value of the goods. Okay, so here it is. Let's say here is our order. Okay, the order, the customer is in Canada, and the company is in the US. The company is in the US, the customer is in Canada. So the delivery that is made should go out to Canada. The delivery that's created should go out to Canada. So inside US, you don't have a problem. You can just ship it, pay the tax and ship. But if your goods are crossing an international border, let's say you are having a truckload of computers, 100 computers crossing an international border. What is different? At the Canadian and Canadian and US border, the customs officials will be there, right? The customs office. All your goods has to cross through the border. And as the goods cross the border in this truck or whatever, you have to declare the value of the goods and make sure the corresponding customs duty is paid. And in order to pay that customs duty, you have to declare what is the value of the goods. So, okay, the value of the goods, value of 100 computers is, $100,000 or $50,000. And for that, according to the local laws of the country you are entering in, you have to pay the respective customs duty. Right? So the pro forma invoice identifies, so this truck carrying over and crossing over the border to Canada will carry what is called as a pro forma invoice. Okay, generally created with reference to the delivery. Why don't we just do an invoice? So anyway, we are going to create an invoice. But remember, when the truck leaves the door or the shipping point or the plant, Only the delivery is created. At that point in time, a billing document is not created yet. It will only be created overnight after the batch process for billing runs. But the customs officials don't care about it, right? As you see the truck, I need to see the pro forma invoice. What is the total value of the goods? So, an invoice can be generated called pro forma invoice, which is F8, can be generated with reference to the delivery. And that invoice is like a regular invoice only. There is a slight difference that I'm going to tell you in a bit. Apart from that, this invoice will be printed and sent along with the truck, and the truck guy will show it to the office here. Right? He'll show it to the office, and then they'll look at the goods, collect tax if necessary, or make sure that the tax has been paid, and then let the truck through. This is the use of a pro forma invoice. One of the users, one of the main users. Okay? Now, you are producing two invoices in this case. One invoice called pro forma invoice, one invoice called standard invoice, which will be sent. So this pro forma invoice is not given to the customer. The customer doesn't care about the pro forma invoice. The customer only cares about the tax invoice. This is as opposed to, this is called pro forma invoice, right? The standard invoice is called commercial invoice or tax invoice, as opposed to pro forma invoice. The pro forma invoice is not relevant for tax. That's not the invoice that is going to send to the customer. It is the only purpose of a pro forma invoice in this case is to show it to customers. It is more or less like an FYI, for your information only. A commercial invoice or a tax invoice gets posted to the books, and that's what is sent to the customer. So this is posted to accounts. Posted to accounts. So pro forma invoices are not posted to accounts. This is one of the major differences between a standard commercial invoice and pro forma invoices. Pro forma invoices are not posted to accounts. Standard invoices are posted to accounts. Okay. The second difference is pro forma invoices can be created with reference to order or with reference to delivery. And standard invoices can also be created with reference to order or with reference to delivery, depending on the nature of the product. If it is a physical deliverable, you create it with reference to the delivery. If it is a service, you create it with reference to the order. But the difference, another difference between pro forma and commercial is, pro forma is more malleable. You can adjust it the way you like. I'll tell you an example. For example, in this order, your customer is ordering 10 PC, okay, 100 quantity, and 20 you are giving a printer 100 printers for free. So the price of this is, let's say at $500 a piece, $50K, and the price of printers is zero. From a customer's perspective and from our perspective, although there is a price associated with a printer, let's say $100, we are giving it for free, so the tax invoice or the commercial invoice will only reflect $50K. And the customer is fine with it. We are fine with it. But this guy over here is not fine with it. He cannot allow 100 printers to go through without paying a tax. It doesn't matter if you are giving it for free to the customer. He doesn't care. Right? This is a simple example where your commercial invoice value will or can vary from the pro forma invoice value. And the simple reason why it could vary. Right? To the customs guy, it is goods crossing the border. He has to pay the tax. It doesn't matter if you are giving all the goods free to the customer for your own business development. He doesn't care. It's goods crossing the border, he has to pay the tax. In which case, the pro forma invoice will be 50K plus, let's say $100 a printer, so 10K. So total of 60K. So the tax that has to be paid is for 60K. That is why international transactions are complicated. So if you order a book from Amazon.com in the US, you get the book for, let's say, $30 plus your tax of 10%, $3, $33. The same book if I order from India, let's say Amazon is not there in India right now. The same book if I order from India, what happens? The book will cost me almost around $50. Right? Because there is a customs duty and other taxes that has to be paid locally. Okay? So this is pro forma invoice, F5 and F8. Now what about L2 and G2? So let's say there is an order, you deliver the order, we bill the order. Okay? This is posted to accounts. The customer has been overcharged. Let's say instead of 10% tax, this is the right tax, but you have charged 12% by mistake. This is the wrong tax. So you have charged 2% extra. The customer is obviously going to complain, or if it doesn't complain, it is our duty to return that 2% to the customer. How do we do that? We do it using what is called as a credit memo request. So with reference to the invoice, we create using VA01 as usual what is called as a credit memo request. Okay? Which doesn't have a delivery because we're not really delivering anything. And this credit memo request is a sales document type. So the corresponding billing document type is G2. So this is a credit memo request. This is a credit memo. The difference is this is the sales document, no accounting there. Here, G2 is the actual accounting document that is generated, which posts to that customer's account and says, hey, you know what? We need to give this customer back his 2% of 50K, which is like $100. Similarly, sometimes we might be undercharging them, right? In which case, you will create what is called as a debit memo request. So go forward, create your debit memo. So this is a debit memo request. And this is a debit memo. And then debit memo is posted to accounts, which will say that we have to return that 2% extra, or we have to take that 2% extra from the customer. So the customer owes us 2% of 50K, which is $100. And another case is where the customer doesn't like the product and maybe part of the product, let's say 100 computers, one is broken. If that one computer is broken, he has to return it. So he calls our call center, we take the call, try and troubleshoot it if necessary. If we really are sure that the product is broken, we'll say, okay, give me your original invoice number, sir. We'll take that original invoice number. Create what is called as a return document, RE. Right? And with reference to that RE, we'll create LR, which is a return delivery. And after that return has been complete, we'll give RE, which will be posted to accounts, and the customer will get the credit for the corresponding return. This is called credit for returns. Now this is very different from the standard credit memo. Credit memo is a pure financial transaction. A return document is both logistics, because there is a return delivery associated with it, and finance is also involved, which is the creation of that credit for returns, which will credit the customer back the value of that computer, which is $500. See, credit memo request, debit memo request, returns and credit for returns. So these are the three different or the three other different billing document types. Right? It's very easy to create an order, create a delivery, create a billing. Create a credit memo request, create a debit memo request. It's as simple as that. Okay? If you want, we can try and create them in the system. Okay, I'll do one, and then the rest of them will be pretty obvious. Okay, so we'll do an order 1000 1000. We'll use the standard set of customers, the standard set of material, because we are just trying to test our document flow. Okay, let's deliver this. We'll start with the original order, or deliver it, bill it, and then do a return, let's say. Yeah, change the delivery date. Picking is not enabled because of warehouse management, right? So you go to subsequent functions, create transfer order. Enter. Save. The transfer order will be saved. Once it is saved, you go back and change the delivery, DL0 to N, and do a post-quotes issue. If all the accounts are proper, the post-quotes issue document will be created, which will update the inventory account and cost of goods account. Now the delivery is created. How do we bill them? VF01. If you want, you can always go to logistics, sales and distribution, billing document, VF01. Same thing. Okay? Automatically, the last created delivery will come. And remember, this is only one way of doing a delivery. There is another way called the billing due list, VF04, that we have discussed. So here is our billing document. It's being created. What is the billing document type? F2. And it is for $859. Let's save it, and the billing document should be posted. Okay? Now you can do subsequent documents only when the posting has happened. If the posting does not happen to accounts for this invoice, you cannot do any subsequent documents. Subsequent documents meaning create returns, create debits, create credits, because this transaction is not complete. So you have to ensure that your billing document, original billing document is posted to accounts. Okay. Now, in this case, look at this. It says no accounting document generated. So the document is created, billing document, but the accounting document is not generated. Why? We don't know. We have to go and check why it is not generated. So go to change, click, and then this is how you try and post a billing document to accounts with green flag. Okay, open the invoice in change mode and try to post it to accounts. Oops. Let's try it again. The system is a little slow. That's why we are having a problem. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Why is it still? Okay, the invoice. So ideally, if it has been posted to account, you should see a subsequent entry right beneath this invoice called accounting document, but it's not there because it's not been posted. So we are trying to see why it has not been posted. So 900388078. Just want to make sure I'm touching on the right invoice number. Again, go to change mode. Okay, now it says, gives you the error. Posting period 005-2012 is not open. Now again, this is a FICO error. So your finance consultant will fix it for you. Okay, you don't have to do anything. But since we want to just complete it, I'll try to go and fix it. Posting period. Okay, hold on. Let me pick up 1000. So for all possible combinations, we have to ensure that the posting periods are open. Okay? This is a pure financial transaction. You never ever have to do it. Okay? So don't worry about it. I'm doing the job of a role of a FICO consultant now. Okay? In case you get the same problem in one of your test systems, go to OB52. But make sure you don't mess up with other things here. It's a very sensitive transaction, and if you screw this transaction up, many things can be disturbed. Okay? I'm not sure if this is going to fix it, but let me try again. I've chosen 1000 there because I know that the fiscal year posting variant associated with company code 1000 is 1000. Otherwise, you'd have to, if you use 3000, you'd have to go to the company code 3000 in the finance view and then find out what is the corresponding posting period variant, pick that up, and then come back to OB52. Change all the end dates to a date beyond the current date. Okay? But that's not important at this point. Let's not focus on that. We want to focus on the accounting document that is generated and do the subsequent transactions like returns, credits, debits. So it's still posting to accounts. Okay, the document is posted. How do you know if this invoice has been posted to accounts? Go to the document flow. Okay, it's still in being posted to. Go to the document flow, and here you have the accounting document. Okay, go to display document and see what are the different accounts that this invoice is posted to. Meaning, what is the customer account, what is the discount account, what is the tax account, what is the say revenue account. All the different accounts will be listed along with the corresponding credits and debits. Okay, 1000 is customer Becker, and he owes us $1,022 for that transaction. And the revenue for it is a credit of 859 euros, and the tax is 163.21 euros. Okay, and they are posted to these accounts 175000. These are called GL accounts or general ledger accounts. Okay, now we don't need to worry about all that stuff at this point. Now here is the trick. Let's say this is that 10000 transaction 78 invoice number, right? We want to create a credit for returns. What is the tax percentage that is charged in this invoice? Let's go inside, select that line item, and then go to pricing, or you can double click that line item. Okay? And go to conditions and see the tax that is charged is 19%. Let's say this is wrong. We don't want to charge 19%, but instead charge, let's say, 17%. 17. So we have charged 2% extra, and we need to return 2% tax. So whatever it is, let's say we calculate it, and it comes to, let's say, $20. Just as an example. Okay. So go back, take this document number, okay, go back, and go to sales. And we need to start again with VA01. Instead of OR, do a CR, which is a credit memo request. We want to give money back to the customer, right? And go to create with reference. We want to create that credit memo with reference to the original invoice. Always, that is the standard. Okay, I'll tell you why it is tomorrow when we discuss copy controls. Okay, go to create with reference, select the billing document and paste the invoice number there. Okay, so it's copying all the stuff in the original invoice, which is the customer details and item details. Now, it will automatically place it on a billing block. Why? It's automatically on a billing block. I didn't put it. The reason is, any time we are giving money to the customer, it will always be placed on a block. Because somebody has to go in, somebody who is authorized has to go in, verify and make sure that it is proper. So we know it's proper, we know we need to give this customer and go inside the pricing for this and change this value to whatever it is. That we want to give only $20 back, right? Whatever that is, $20 or $18. Okay? Sorry. Whatever that value is. And then, do we do a delivery? No. We directly do a billing document. Right? This is only a credit memo request. We are not physically delivering goods. We are just giving money back against that material. So we directly do a billing. And it says document is incomplete. Go to edit and it says, hey, you know what? You have to fill in an order reason. Where can you fill the order reason? Go to sales and put an order reason. Why are we returning the credit? You have to put some reason here. What reason? Maybe tax overcharge or whatever. These are customizable. You can make your own reasons here. Okay? You just put some reason there and then go to billing. Okay? Here is $18, 18 euros plus tax. Okay. Okay. Now, quite similar to this, you can create a debit memo request also. How do you do that? What is a debit memo request? You have undercharged the customer, in which case you need to collect some more money, let's say 20 euros. Create with reference. Always again the original invoice number. Okay? Copy. Then remove this block. Go inside that line item. Change its value to whatever you want to do. Okay? And then make sure that if necessary put an order reason and try to do a billing. Okay? You see, this time it's a debit memo. Previously it was G2, credit memo. Now it's a debit memo. And now click on save. Debit memo has been saved. Similarly, you can create a returns document. The customer doesn't like that product, he wishes to return it. We have done some price adjustments until this point. Now the goods is not working. The computer that we have sent M01 is not working. So what do? We ask the customer return it to us. How does that process happen? So the customer calls us, we take the original invoice number and say, okay, what is your original invoice number, sir? Okay, he tells the number. We put it here, 900388078, and then click copy. Oh, it's not an order number, right? Okay, I made a mistake. It's not order, it's billing document. Put that invoice number there, click on copy. The system will copy the product. Sir, you want to return M01 some product, is that right? Quantity 1? He'll say yes. Okay? And then you remove this billing block. Again, put an order reason why he's returning, maybe material ruined. Okay? He has to get the full price back, right? Whatever he has paid. Now, you cannot do a billing directly because he has to return the product. Okay? As usual, you will do a return delivery for the product Okay. In this case, do we need to do picking? No. It's a returning product. So we don't need to pick anything from our warehouse. In fact, we need to do the opposite, which is put away. So all we need to do here is click on post goods receipt. Okay. And then done. And finally, we bill the product and this way, this time, the customer doesn't need to pay us, but we need to pay the customer. So let's look at the document flow of everything that has transpired until now. You see, go back to the standard order all the way, and then look at the document flow. First, we created an order, and then your delivery and billing. After which there was some pricing discrepancies because which we have created either a credit memo or a debit memo, depending on whatever is the requirement. And then the product did not work, we did a returns, for which we do a return delivery and then a return for goods. Now if you look at this accounting document, 14,000, which is the accounting document for the original invoice, and click on display, you will see that the customer is debited 100,22121. Okay? If you go back and look at this credit for returns and display document, you can see that 10021 is a negative, which is a credit. Credit is always negative. So in the original invoice, the customer is debited, and in this invoice, it is credited. So why it is credit? Why it is debit? Meaning why it is negative? In which case it is negative? In which case it is positive? Is none of our concern. This SAP system will automatically take care of it depending on the nature of or the document category. What we need to understand is, hey, you know what? The accounts kind of balanced out, right? In the original case it was positive, now it is negative. It makes sense, right? Let me take a screenshot of this guy. So if you do document flows like this, if you do complete sequence of steps, things will be very, very clear to you. You'll face a couple of difficulties, like, those accounts problems and all that. But right now the system is very good. You can, for at least for standard material, standard customers, for standard 1000, you can do all of these steps. Okay? Try and do these steps. It will give you a very good experience. Okay, coming back to our billing document types. So we have seen some billing document types, right? Like standard billing document, debit memo, credit memo, so on and so forth. Now, where is the configuration for this? As usual, you go to SPRO, ING, Sales and Distribution, Billing, Billing Documents, Billing Document Types. Okay? Define billing document types, choose. So what are the important ones? F2, G2, L2, RE, and F5 and F8. Right? Pro forma invoice for order, pro forma invoice for delivery, standard invoice, and then if you go down below, there is debit memo, L2, credit memo, G2, so on and so forth. Now go to F2, click this, and here you will see the important controls. Okay? These are the controls behind a sales billing document type. So as usual, number ranges 1. Document category, document category, right? It controls the DNA. Posting block, I'll tell you what a posting block is. Okay? And then I'll just highlight all the important ones, okay? Invoice list type 4. Relevant for rebate 5. Invoice cancellation 6. Account determination 7. Document pricing procedure 8. And that should be good enough. Okay? Again, not all the things are important at this point. Let's only focus on a couple of them. First one, number ranges. You know what they are, right? Number ranges are the standard number ranges that are generated as soon as the document is created. Okay? Document category defines the DNA. Posting block, number 3. What does a posting block do? A posting block is used to block the document from posting to accounts. But that's only block for automatic. Okay? Now, here is the trick. I'll show it to you in the system. But I don't want to change F2, right? Everybody will be using F2. So we don't want to change anything in F2. So let's copy F2 and create ZF22. Okay? And then say yes. Therefore, 88. Okay? And then hit enter and save. Save. So we are creating our own invoice document type. And then let's put a posting block there, okay, like that, and click on save. Okay, so we are putting a posting block on our custom document type. Then BA01, let's do an order, delivery, and then go billing document, and then I'll show you the difference between what or the difference that the posting block makes to that invoice. So let me quickly create this order and delivery. Okay, order, delivery. Subsequent function, transfer order. Yes. I'm just fast forwarding these steps, skipping through all the steps that are required in order for us to actually fully perform this transaction and see it until the end of creating this invoice. The post goods issue, go back, VF01. Now, what invoice document, if you leave it alone, then the invoice document type that we create is F2. But we don't want F2. We want to test ZF, what is our document number? 88. Right? You select the document type there and hit enter. Okay? So the document type, invoice document type that is created here is ZF88. Click. It says no accounting document generated down below. Isn't it? Go back. Now go to BF02 in change mode and click on this button. Okay? Let me show it. Give a screenshot of this button. Okay? Now it has been posted. See, earlier we had to click on this button because there was some problem. There was some error in accounts and then it could not post it, which is fine. Right? We had to fix some number ranges, so on and so forth. Now, there is no problem. It just stopped from posting. That is because we have explicitly configured the document type in such a way that we should stop posting to accounts. Okay? I'll put that screenshot there. Okay? And let me go back. Okay? So this posting block will, whenever a document is clicked for posting, whenever a billing document is set to posting, then every, or rather the invoice or billing document type should be explicitly released. That is the effect of that parameter. Okay, the billing document type should be explicitly released, and only when you do that will the document post to accounts. The reason why we do that, the business reason is, here is the golden rule, okay? Once, thumb rule, once an invoice is posted, it is irreversible. Once the invoice is posted to account, it's irreversible. The only way to reverse it Okay, I'll put it here. There are a couple of ways to reverse it, meaning not directly reverse them. You cannot just go and erase those entries there. Once an account is debited, you cannot go and erase it. The only way to reverse or logically reverse that invoice document is cancel an invoice using S1 or S2, or give debit memo or credit, depending on what your requirement is. And that's the reason why we have this cancellation document type here, number 6. Okay? So we'll see that cancellation of invoice, cancellation of document. So where is billing? Billing document. What is our original billing document? 82 900-38082. Go back. EF01 S1 invoice cancellation. Put your original billing document. Hold on, not like that. I think I forgot. I did it very long ago. Again, cancellation is something that is done very rarely. Invoices are never cancelled. Billing document cancel. Enter. Okay. And then save. Okay. You go to the billing document VF02. Open the billing document you want to cancel and go to the log and click on cancel. Go to the log in the menu and click on cancel. So I'll write it here and document it. How to cancel a billing document. Document type S1 or S2. Okay, still doing it, and I'll just highlight and copy that steps and then paste it here. Okay. Billing document. So 83 is separated, right? 900-38083 has been saved. Now go to display and then look at the document flow. Okay. Let's start from the beginning. Display from the standard order. Let's start, and then we look at all the accounting documents. Go to the document flow and then see that the original invoice is this and the corresponding account document is this. And when you cancel it and look at the accounting document, it will be very simple. It's just negative entries which are just offsetting the original debits and credits. Okay? So this is a credit against this customer. If you look at the original invoice, it will be a debit. Right? So how did we cancel this invoice? Like so. Okay? This is how you cancel an invoice. So open it in VF02, change mode, and then click on cancel, and you'll be able to cancel. This is one way to reverse a document that is posted to accounts. What is the other way? To give debits and credits, and you know how to do them. Create a debit memo request, debit memo. Credit memo request, credit memo. Okay, once again, a posting block is used to stop the billing document from posting to accounts. Why do you need to stop from posting to accounts? Generally, when you want to make sure that your invoice is right. Example is a company like Cummins, which is selling a very big generator, right, or a power transformer. Siemens is selling a power transformer to a power generating company. And the transformer costs like $10 million. It's a big order, right? So you don't want to really make mistakes. If it is $1,000, it makes sense to make mistakes. Even if they happen, you can correct them. At a $5 million or a $10 million order, there will be dedicated people looking at that order, making sure it's properly delivered and properly invoiced. They look at it invoice by invoice, line by line. Is this line correct? Is this tax percentage correct? Right? And as soon as the invoice is saved, it will automatically be posted to accounts. There is not much of a control there unless you put that posting block. Okay? So you put a posting block there for such special invoices and such special scenarios so that the person in finance can quickly and thoroughly check that invoice, make sure that all the line items are proper, and then explicitly click on that green flag that you see in the center of the picture. That will release it to accounting. The reason being, so you can reverse a delivery, you can reverse an order, you can delete line items, but once an invoice is posted to account, you cannot just erase those entries. The only way to reverse it is either cancel an invoice using S1 and S2 or give a debit or a credit for the difference. Okay? Now, invoice list. What is an invoice list? See, LR. What is LR? Invoice list. Here is a trick. Let's say this is May, right? May 1st, there is an order. Order will be delivered and then billed on 10th, let's say. And then 2nd, there is another order. 3rd, there is another order. 5th, there is another order. So on and so forth. Each time there is this order, it will generate so many invoices on 11th, on 15th, on 28th, so on and so forth. So the customer will receive as many invoices or if not more as the rare number of orders, assuming that orders are not split. Okay, and this invoice will be posted to accounts, and that accounts will contain a reference number which will be this invoice number. Let's say this invoice number is 900000012. That number will come into the accounting document as 9000012. So when the customer pays, so here is our customer, let's say this invoice is worth $1,000. That customer is paying $1,000 against this invoice. So what does the finance department do? They take the customer payment, let's say coming in via cash or check, and apply. Okay, incoming payment will be applied to the accounting document against reference number. So the customer will receive the invoice, which will say 900000012. So we will send this invoice via email, phone, fax, or whatever, a PDF. So against this invoice he will pay. And that reference number, invoice number, will be put as a reference number here in the accounting document, and with reference to that, the customer will pay. Now this is the way payments happen in finance. Now the problem here that we are trying to solve with invoice list is, there are too many invoices coming in through the month, and some customers don't like that. It's too much of a work for them. They'll say, every month, send me one consolidated invoice. Very simple. So you generate as many invoices as you want. But at the end of the month or at the end of every 2 weeks, depending on how they want, generate one consolidated invoice. Okay? How does this happen? Like invoice 1, invoice 2, invoice 3, so on. At the end of the month, consolidate all of them. These are all F2s, L2s, G2s, REs, different kinds of documents, right? In the meanwhile, you give debits, credits, credit for returns, all different kinds of billing documents. At the end of the month, consolidate to what is called as an invoice list, which will contain a huge list of all the items in this. In F1 will have 2 items, and those 2 items will come sit here. F2 will have 3 items. The second invoice will have, let's say, 4 items, and those 4 items will come and sit here. So on and so forth. This will be a huge list of all line items in original invoice. Okay? The trick here is the original invoice is already posted to accounts. Accounting document is generated. This accounting document contains the invoice number against the corresponding invoice number 90018. So this is the accounting document that contains 90018, and this is the accounting entry. Now LR doesn't create a separate accounting entry. LR is not posted to accounts because they've already been posted. But what does it do? When we create an LR, and LR will create another invoice number 900, let's say 0058. So it will go and change. So let's say this is 900019, 900020, so on and so forth. Each of them will generate their own accounting document numbers. Right? So this will go and look at all the accounting document numbers like 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth, and against each of these accounting documents, it will go into these accounting documents and change. Okay, let me change the color here so that it will go into each of these accounting documents and change. It changes nothing else. It only changes one number, which is change the reference number. Change reference number. Okay? It changes the reference number. So when the customer payment comes in against this invoice, they know that each of these accounting documents is against this invoice list. So the customer will pay a lump sum against this invoice list. Okay, first order is 1000, second order is 1000, third invoice is 1000, fourth invoice is 1000, so on and so forth, or 1500, whatever numbers. At the end of the month, the customer has received nothing, only one invoice list. The individual invoice now will not be sent to the customer. They will not be sent to the customer. A consolidated invoice list with the number 90058 will be sent now to the customer. The customer will receive it. Okay, the customer will receive it and pay against, let the consolidated amount, let's say $30,000. The summation of all the invoices, $30,000 against 90058. Now, when the accounting department tries to apply that cash against the invoice, the accounting document, there should be a match, right? And if this changing of reference number is not happening, there will be no match because the invoice list is not posted to accounts. The original invoice is posted, invoice list is not. So the invoice list will go in and change this to 58. 58. 58. Now it's easy. Okay, this is the cash and I'm applying it against all these accounting numbers. This is called invoice list. Okay, the way to create invoice lists is, okay, looks like I have logged out. Let me log in again. The way to create invoice list is via transaction VF21. Okay, if you want, you can go via the menu path, invoice list, VF21. Okay, VF21. You use the billing type LR, and then you specify all the billing documents against which you need to create LR, or you can go to VF24, which is, let's say, put a date here, end of the month, and put 1000, 10, 00, pay at 1000. I want to find out, create an invoice list for all the invoices created against 1000. If there were any open invoices for which we have configured it, they'll all come up here. And in order for it to come up, one of the parameters that decides it is, I'll tell you what it is. Okay. If you go to the sales view billing tab, you should make sure that there is an invoice list date here, which is the date on which, or the factory calendar based on which you do invoice generation. Typically it will be some monthly calendar, like US monthly calendar, Canadian monthly calendar. If you are implementing it in Dubai, it's a Dubai monthly calendar. So based on that month end, it will generate the invoice list. And this is a mandatory field. If you don't fill in this field, your invoice list will not be generated. So it will be by sold to, by payer. Okay, I'll just highlight this field and paste it here. Should be set to a calendar to generate invoice list. Okay. So we have seen standard invoices, debit memos, credit memos, pro forma invoices. Oh, by the way, pro forma invoices, how are they generated? So we have already seen a bunch of invoices, right? VF02, VF03. Let's take some VA03. Orders, track down. Anybody happen to remember? Okay. Let's say with reference to this delivery 80016232, we want to create a pro forma invoice. How do you do it? Go to VF01. Okay. Select F8. It's a pro forma invoice with respect to delivery. Enter the delivery document number. Now we are creating a pro forma invoice. Saved. Okay. Now let's go to that order and look at the document flow. You will see the pro forma invoice here created, but it is completed, but there is no corresponding accounting document. Okay. A pro forma invoice will not have an accounting document. I'll write it down here. Okay. No accounting document for pro forma invoices. Alright. So first standard credits, standard debits, standard invoices, unless there is a zero value, if there is at least a dollar in value or any value, there will be an accounting document that will be generated. The only exception to it is invoice lists, for which there is no accounting document, and pro forma invoices, for which there is no accounting document. Okay? So let me stop here and see if we have any question, and then we'll take it from there.